Hello and welcome to a new episode of Connected from Home, where we choose to stay safe yet refuse to be disconnected. We connect with interesting people from all around the world, get to know more about them, seek inspiration, and have fun. It's the back to school season, and since nutrition plays an important role in maintaining the health and well being of our children, today we're featuring the school lunchbox. George from Australia makes the perfect lunchbox, and he will tell us how.
Hello, George, Anela, and Kiara. It's very nice to meet you, and I've been enjoying watching your videos and mouth-watering lunchboxes. I think this is the best way to celebrate back to school. Tell me more about the lunchboxes.
Sure. Well, firstly, marhaban, and thank you so much, Heba, for having us. We're very excited all the way from Australia. But yes, back to school, and the one thing that parents are usually concerned about or worried about is school lunches, and that's where I come in, and that's why I started about 4 or 5 years ago now, my little Instagram page called School Lunchbox.
Okay, I was surprised to know that you're not even a chef.
No, that's right.
Yeah, I need to know how this started.
Okay, well, I've always had a passion for food because I love to eat food. So we all have a passion to eat. So for me, I was like always interested, always creative. You know, whether it be music or poems or anything creative or the arts. But one day, it was one morning, Heba, it was about 5 years ago, that I used to go to work early in the morning, and I used to leave before my daughters would wake up. So one morning I was sick and home in bed, and I could hear there was something happening in the kitchen. So I run to the kitchen and I look at my wife and my two daughters and I'm like, hey, what's happening? And they said, well, this is normal. I'm like, but it's chaos. So my wife said to me, if you can do lunches, then I'll be happy. So that was the day I took over lunches, and I started getting creative and more creative, and here we are today.
That's amazing because they look very professional, very neat, and I know that they're very nutritious as well. You're traveling around the world showing people how to create lunch boxes and how to better provide their children with nutrients and healthy food. So, can you give us some tips?
Yes, absolutely. Well, firstly, the key for me was that I treat every lunchbox like it's their last lunchbox. So for me, I feel grateful that I'm a parent, I'm a dad. So that's why a lot of love goes into the lunchbox, which is huban. I think you say in Arabic, huban.
Yeah.
So I put a lot of huban into the lunchbox. And for me, what I do is I try and use the rainbow, lots of bright colors. And if you can have lots of colors in there using fresh produce, that's a good start because that way they'll get the right nutrients. But the key of my secret is I've got a number. What's the number, girl, that I use? 5. Okay. So if I just use the number 5, which means if you can put 2 fruits and if you can put 3 veggies or vegetables, we call them, in every lunchbox, then it's going to be a good, healthy lunchbox. So that's my little secret, is the number 5, and by adding those, and also making it creative, a little bit more fun, and ideally just you want them to open it because children eat with their eyes. They as soon as they see something, they love it or they don't. So yeah, that's the main tips to get the right nutrition and keeping it simple.
So let me ask Anela and Kiara, what do you think about the lunch boxes? Are they as tasty as they look?
Yes, they are.
Yes,
Yeah.
even more tasty.
Really? Oh, okay.
But the
You have
good
an army of defenders here, frontline.
yes, on the front line, they represent well. But the key is like with children at school, And it's always important to remember when they start school, they haven't seen their friends for such a long time, and or the school, so they want to play. They don't want to sit down and eat. They want to play and run around and do what children do. So that's why it's important to make food or their lunches exciting, fun, bite size. So I believe in doing fun little sandwiches using like instead of one big sandwich, I just use fun shapes just to get them interested and excited to want to eat it, because lunch is the last thing on their mind when they're at school with their friends.
Okay, so let me ask the girls, which one is your favorite lunchbox?
Oh, that's a hard one.
What's your favorite food? Is it the scrolls or is it?
I really like Dad's apple roses, which is like little apple pie shaped in a rose.
Which is a pastry. It's a apple and pastry, and it looks like a rose. So that's her favorite. How about you, Kia?
I don't know. They're all really delicious. Probably the pizza skulls.
Every kid likes pizza.
It's pretty impressive that you wake up that early and you bake in the morning.
Yes. I love it. For me, it's I find when I'm in the kitchen, it relaxes me. I feel calm. I make a coffee, so I make a really nice 2 or 3 coffee, and I love the Middle Eastern coffee. The short with the mud on the bottom. So I love making Turkish coffee or Middle Eastern coffee.
Yeah.
And I have a couple of those, and then I make some pizza scrolls for Kiara. I make some roses for Anella, and it's my time in the kitchen. So I love getting up early, which is unusual for many people.
I bet all their friends are jealous right now, are they? When you see your lunch boxes, fancy ones every day.
But the good thing is, are they? Or have they? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. But the good thing is, Heba, is that it motivates and inspires other people. So I do this mainly in my Instagram page, not to show off, but to inspire parents to say, well, if he's a dad and he's an Aussie dad, and if he can do it, that means I can do it. So that's why I've become a little bit popular, around the world, because I make it easy. And hey, I'm just a dad, and if it works, and if I can do it, anyone can do it.
Yeah, that's very cool. So what inspired you? Like maybe does your childhood play a role? What inspires you to be the dad you are today?
Wow, that's an amazing question. You see, with me, Heba, I grew up mainly in my life's been ruled by women. Okay, so my dictators have been women all my life. So I grew up. My dad passed away when I was younger, but I lived with my mum, my sister. When I got married to a wife, a girl, and I've got 2 girls. So all I know is women. So one thing that women have taught me is that there's no gender roles in our house. So there's no dad role or mum role. We do what needs to be done, and we just do it. So for me, it's not unusual doing what I'm doing. So I'm inspired by women, and that's why I love making lunches, because it's the world has changed and we should embrace it. So as far as what inspired me to do the food, as I mentioned earlier, like I got up one morning and I saw my wife under a bit of pressure because she was doing everything because I'd be at work. So for me, taking over some responsibility that I could be creative and I could enjoy it, for me was it was satisfying, but B, I felt good because it helps my wife and it helps run our household. So I'm inspired by women, Heba, which is a good thing.
Yeah, and you are such an inspiring father and husband. I think you should take the prize, I don't know, husband of the year or dad of the year. We'll agree on that.
I'll take it. No, even Heba, I think of all my followers on social media, which is, almost 250,000 followers, 250,000, 97% are women, so I would love it to be 97% men, so that they can be inspired, so they could maybe, think, well, it's not that bad, it's easy. And I believe women like men that can cook. So hey, I'm a lucky guy.
Yes, of course. I totally agree.
Yeah.
Maybe
So
I'll let my husband watch this. Maybe he'd be inspired of it. Maybe make me a lunchbox or anything. Could be
that'll be
any meal. Yeah. We'll, we'll,
fantastic.
we'll try to make we'll try to inspire him.
Fantastic. But yeah, it's good because my traditionally my background, like my parents came to Australia in 1968, but they came from Macedonia, which is in Europe. And even there, like a man generally doesn't go in the kitchen, you know. So for me, it's I feel good about doing something that I love, you know. So we shouldn't have to rely on history, you know, to do things or not do things. So yeah, that's why I've got to teach these girls to expect, you know, their partners to cook as well.
Yes. I hope so. And now you're traveling the world, showing everyone how to feed their children. So, how many countries have you visited so far?
We've been, I've done shows in the UK, like in United Kingdom, New Zealand, done lots of interviews all around the world, like this. We've done shows in Macedonia, in Italy, in France. I've done shows in Poland. We're on a front page in Poland. And New Zealand, I've been there a fair few times. And Australia, I think I've done it 5 times, right around every capital city in Australia 5 times as well. And next year again, you know, we're hoping to do it again. We'd love to inspire people. I love meeting people, and it's good because when they see how easy it is, they do it as well. So yeah, well, I'm very fortunate. I'm very I think the word in Arabic is mumtan, grateful.
Ten, yes,
Mumtan.
grateful. Yes,
Yes.
yes.
So I'm very
That's very good.
shukran.
Afwan.
Thank you. Shukran again. So I just embrace it. I enjoy it, and I make the most of it too. So it's good.
And I love how you do this, you know, at the end for your daughters. You teach them a lot of things along the journey. And I've seen you, I don't know, preparing with them lunch boxes for health workers and for people at the shopping aisles. This is admirable. I want you to tell me about this experience.
Sure. Well, what happened was here in Australia when COVID-19 hit us, it hit us pretty bad, and there were a lot of angry people at the supermarkets and grocery stores that were buying all the essential food, but they'll and items. But they'd buy everything. They'll fill up the trolley, and there'll be not enough for everybody else and the elderly. So the people that worked there, they weren't treated very well. So one day we saw it on the news, and my daughters, both Anella and Kiara, said, "Hey, Dad, that's not good," you know. And I said, "Well, what are we going to do about it?" And they said, "Well, let's go. Let's go to the supermarket and tell all the workers that they're doing a good job and not to worry." So we wrote, the girls spent a few hours writing a note, and they stuck their a little chocolate on the note saying, "Thank you, you're doing a good job." And we went, I took them to the supermarket with my wife, and they dropped off all the notes to all the workers just to show some gratitude and appreciation that they are doing a good job. And, you know, there are good people there out there. And then the next day we're on the news all around Australia. You know, the girls were on the news and interviews, and that was aired in the UK as well. But we don't do it for that. We do it because, you know, we come from a place of Huban. You know, it's yeah, that's why we do it. We just want, you know, simple things and people to be grateful.
So, Anella, how did you feel about it?
Really happy and proud of Dad. Yeah.
And how did you?
And
Really-
Kiara, how
really-
did you feel? What were the reactions when you first like put the note there with the chocolate? And I know that they would have been having a very rough day, and then someone comes along and says thank you. So how did you guys feel when you looked at the smiles on their faces?
I was actually really happy that I did something to make someone else feel
Good.
feel good.
Yeah.
So,
It's a good feeling, and to learn I guess to learn something at their age, that it's okay to give, and it's okay to show love, and it's okay to be, nice to people. If they can learn this at this age, well, they can teach or show their friends. They might inspire other children, and that's what it's about. It's to lead the way, that this is how I want to be treated, and this is how we treat others as well. So it's a good feeling.
So, can you give us some tips on how dads or parents in general can better feed their children?
Yeah,
I know
absolutely.
you have a book
Yes.
already, and you're working on another one, so you're
Yes.
kind of an expert now.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
can you just share with us some tips?
Yes. Okay. So for me, a good lunchbox is always the start. So we always we at the start of the year we buy a good lunchbox, the bento ones, which they're available everywhere around the world. So a good lunchbox is a start. But secondly, it's firstly to teach the children respect for food. So what I do is on a Sunday or any day of the week, you can take your children shopping and let them pick the food. Let them have a look at the apples, because Heba, there's like 7 or 8 different types of apples at the supermarket. But when I took them, Anala, she went for the pink lady apples, like the pink ones, and Kiki back then she chose a different one. And I didn't know that they liked different apples until I took them. So it's important to take them to see what's available and to appreciate the amount of food there is. But the secret is, it's important for them to see that at the end, at the supermarket, you have to pay for food. It costs money. So I give them the credit card or cash, and they will pay for it so they can see there's a transaction. So they need to respect food to understand that it costs money and it's not for free. So that's the first tip. Teach the kids that it costs money. Second tip, thank you. Second tip is, don't be afraid to grow something at home. So what we do is, we've got a garden and we plant tomatoes, cucumbers, capsicum. So we plant all different types of vegetables and even carrots. But a carrot will take like 3 months to grow. So it takes a long time, a lot of water, digging. So it's important for them to see that it takes a long time for something natural to grow. So again, that's teaching them respect as well. So that's a good thing. But from a lunchbox point of view for a parent, I think the most important thing is just a good balance of food. So make sure you've got some protein, and protein can be in the form of meat or beans, or like hummus, for example, which is a famous Arabic dip. In hummus, there's so much protein that's from the plant. So as long as you understand a little bit of a balance, but even like a good a piece of fruit is important. Cutting up some fruit, maybe putting it in a lunchbox. So just having a good balance, and generally, if there's something that you'd like to eat, let the children try it, because sometimes we think that the kids won't eat it, but it's important for them to see what you eat, for them to want to eat it too.
So Kiara, do you go sometimes and tell your dad, I have seen a picture of some food or something that I want to try?
Yeah. It was the avocado dip that Dad made. It had avo, tomato, onion, and a couple other things. I can't remember, but yeah.
And that was
Well,
fun.
you know some of the ingredients. Do you help him out with the lunch boxes? Do you prepare them with him?
No, that's my job.
Okay.
But Heba, it was funny because I made my daughter's lunch, and we were home. It was on a weekend, and I made them lunch, and then I made myself an avocado dip. With all these like there was as Kiara said, tomato, onions. I put smoked paprika and chilies, and she said, "Dad, I want that." And I said, "Really?" She goes, "Yeah, that's what I want." And I said, "Okay." So I took out the chili and I gave it to her, and she loves it. So that's what I was saying. It's important for you to eat the food that you want your children to eat, because there's a saying we have here, and it's monkey see, monkey do. So it's important to to show them, not just show them, but teaching them by eating and leading by example.
So I know that you teach your girls about different countries around the world and cultures in a very innovative way.
Yes.
Tell me more.
Yeah, well, I had no idea because back it was 2018, so 2 years ago, there was a lot of world problems, and I thought to myself, I don't want my girls to watch the news and see, a country that's going through some issues. I didn't want them to think that that's what the country is. I want them to learn the truth about the countries, the good things about the countries in the world. So what I decided to do was I decided to use food and culture to educate my daughters about the countries all around the world. So every Friday back in 2018, I would pick a country from around the world, like I did Italy, Mexico, France, and Australia, New Zealand, all these amazing countries around the world, and a lot of Middle Eastern countries as well. And I'd make the food from that country and like the specialty that they have and what they're famous for. And I'd put the flag of the country in there. In their lunchbox, and I'll put some fun facts in there, like in Switzerland, for example. In Switzerland, I wrote there are more chocolate shops than dentists.
Wow. Yes.
Yeah, and the first country in the world to have Wi-Fi all around the country for free was Macedonia. So I used to do fun facts like that. So when they open a lunchbox on a Friday, they'll see a flag, and I'd write some fun facts, and they look at the flag, they eat the food, and that's what they learn about the country. So I, took it upon myself to educate them about the world using food. And it was funny because last year we went to Italy and France. We were lucky enough to go, and they knew the food. They knew the food because they've eaten it. They've seen it in a lunchbox, and they knew about the Colosseum because I put a picture of it in a lunchbox. So yeah, it's a good thing. The world has so much good to offer through food. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's a
can I
different
show you something?
perspective. I admire that.
And can we show you something that we did earlier?
Yeah, sure. We'd
Okay.
love to. We'd love to see.
Okay. So what we did here, it's
Whoa.
a Middle Eastern inspired lunchbox. It's not all traditional Bahrain, but we've got some hummus, we've got some baklava, we've got some dips and some hummus, some tabbouleh, flatbread. We've got some pickled.
Yes. I see you have some Bahraini dessert. They call it halwa here.
Oh,
That's correct, yes.
yes, delicious. And some rice, and we've got I've forgotten about that, falafel as well, which is delicious. I know that Bahrain is famous for like fish and seafood as well, and delicious.
Yes.
So when I get time, I'm going to make a delicious traditional Bahrain dish, and I'll send you a photo.
Oh, we'd love that. Please.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
We're waiting for it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay. And along with some facts as well.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. It's a fascinating country. It's a little island, but it's so rich with its culture and the architecture. I was blown away with the amazing architecture with the two buildings with the turbine in the middle, which is so environmentally amazing when it comes to engineering. So it's very impressive.
Thank you so much. And we love and appreciate Australia as well.
Thank
Very
you.
much.
Thank you. Thank you. I've got a lot of Middle Eastern friends here in Australia, and they cook some amazing food. So I'm very lucky that I have these friends that I get to eat and sample some beautiful Middle Eastern food. So can't wait to visit one day. I can't wait to visit.
Yeah, we can't wait to have you. Maybe perhaps in Bahrain with the girls. And you make me curious about Australian cuisine as well. I'm gonna Google some things and maybe try to make something.
Yes, sounds good. It sounds good.
Yes, it's like a bridge between cultures.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we all have to eat, so why don't we learn and eat at the same time?
Yes, exactly. That's the point.
Yes.
It's great, and thank you for being with us today in this episode of Connected from Home. It was such a pleasure to have you, George, Anela, and Kiara.
Yep.
And really, I've learned a lot today, and really, it was a pleasure to see you.
Thank you. Salam.
Salam from Bahrain to Australia.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks to you.
This is the end of today's episode of Connected from Home. See you next week with new features and stories from all around the world.